Okay, so this is the front of the house from across the street. Put up that bentwood fence. I think this is its last year. Planted some muley grass in the city-owned strip next to the sidewalk. You can make baskets out of it, also called sweetgrass. The sidewalk slopes towards that channel right there that they're planted in, and I removed a few inches of soil so that it would collect the water. And it ever so slightly all flows towards the right here, but each plant acts as a little check dam, slows the water down and collects leaves in the process. See the leaf litter collecting underneath the grass. Close-up of the leaf litter collecting in the check dam area. On the trellis here I have sword beans growing. See why they call them sword beans, they're enormous. There's a good sword bean right there. And you can eat them when they're younger. You chop them up, or you can eat the dry beans as well. There's an open pod so you can see the beans. If you eat the younger pods, you got to strip the two strings off of both sides before you eat them. There's an edible canna storing right there until I can move it. Pineapple guava, pomegranate right there. There's another pomegranate in the and asparagus growing behind that. It's almost out for the season. It's November 3rd. There's some horseradish growing right there. Some garlic chives planted around it. Up next to in the front of the house, added some gutters and some rainwater catchment, 625-gallon container, and I can use that to help keep the pond full. We have a lot of evaporation during the summertime. The overflow from that travels downhill into this swale right here, and I also have a gray water system that discharges water from a sink into the swale right here as well. I have 8 different endpoints for this one in the front yard, and it was a trick because it's all uphill going towards the street, so the swale enables me to actually transfer that gray water downhill even though it's into an uphill area. But the water comes out of the extra water, the overflow from the rain barrel there travels through this swale and helps flush out that gray water, serving multiple functions. There's another horseradish, and there's Jerusalem artichokes planted on the base of it. I'll show you those. Here's a picture of the gray water system before it was buried. Here are some of the Jerusalem artichokes. You just dig as you need them. Little fig tree over there. Another one down there. Already lost its leaves. I planted some little baby loquats over on the fence line there. Helped screen the neighbors. Then I planted some blueberries up against the house over here, so I can get some fruit from those. And that takes us back to the backyard over there. Here's the pump house for the inline pump for the pond. There's the priming pot right there. Then it goes back to the pump, which is back there, which is an ultra efficient inline pump. Moves about 35 gallons per minute. I've utilized this flexible PVC piping right here on the joints so I can reduce my pressure loss. This is my latest project. I'm doing a passive solar renovation here. Kitchen used to be in there, and I moved my kitchen, and then I'm building a dining room in that area. But this is on the south side of the house. It's cloudy and kind of wet today, so there's no sun entering the room today, but The sun enters it in the wintertime, and it's excluded in the summertime. And it hits a concrete slab and heats up that room, which in turn heats the house. In the wintertime, sunlight also reflects off this pond into the room. I get more sunlight that way as well. But in the summertime, it is shaded by this oak tree overhead. So I'm inside the passive solar room right here. See the windows? It's hard to get an idea of the size of them. I was able to scavenge for the doors right there, and I got those for free. And then my friend built these window frames for me right here, and I had glass, double glazed glass, custom cut, and then I inserted them into those openings right there in those custom frames. I'm going to put this dark colored tile right here on the floor to help absorb that solar heat energy and put it into the concrete. And then all around the back, since this room is lower than the house, the rest of the house, I bridged the gap with cinder blocks filled with sand from my backyard. And then I'm going to do an earth plaster on top of that. And this whole room sits below the rest of the house. It's the opening I'm going to cut open. And there's the door. I'm going to be removing that. And all the cold air from the house will flow downhill into this room, heat up, and then flow back into the house, creating a thermosiphon. Inside the concrete floor, I've installed two separate radiant floor heat systems. One will be connected to the hot water heater in the house and will be utilized to heat the floor system as needed. The other system will be connected to the pond and will be utilized to transfer heat from either the hot water heater or the sun into the pond system. This straw right here was getting thrown away. It was left over from a festival, and I've planted some crimson clover out here as well to be a nice nitrogen fixing ground cover. It's a good lawn alternative. It'll die back in the summertime. See it peeping through the straw right there. So thanks for joining me today, folks, on the tour of the Urban Permaculture Institute of the Southeast. My name is Sean Yadnicek, and I'm a horticulture agent with Clemson Extension Service. Just a little advertisement for Walterboro. The only thing missing here is permaculture people just like you. So it's a wonderful place to move to and a wonderful place to live. There's very inexpensive land here. We're about 45 minutes from Charleston, about an hour from Savannah. So there's lots of markets. You can get farm-sized land, walking distance to downtown. Really nice people, really inexpensive houses in town. You know, under $100,000 you can get a nice sized lot right in the middle of town with a big house. What a deal. So come on, move to Walterboro. What are you waiting for? See you soon. Bye.